We all knew that this was coming, folks. We have some inductions into the former Oakland great Hall of Fame. Julio, you take it. Wait, let the music build up for a second. Now, Julio, you take it away. These are probably, I would say, got to be top 10 all-time former Oakland greats.
Potentially,
definitely since we started.
We're gonna need
started
this,
the
though.
former Oakland great Hall of Fame, at least.
It's the sound of the Lagunitas opening. Joshua Isaiah Harrison, Andrew Gregory Chafin, Jacob Tanner Diekman, Christopher Michael Bassitt. Oakland A's 2015 to 2021 one-time All-Star. Matt James Chapman. The fact that his full name isn't Matthew is kind of interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, that's super weird, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if I agree with that. His parents need a stern talking to.
2017 through 2021, a one-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove winner.
Chappie was only one time
All-Star? 2019. Yeah, I was at Angel Stadium.
What?
I was at Angel Stadium
2018
when it was announced that he was going to be an All-Star and he had a home run. Anyways.
That's highway robbery. 2018 didn't get in. Bullshit.
Matthew Kent Olson. 2016 through 2021, one-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner. Only winning 2 Gold Gloves is fucking criminal, by the way. But
yeah,
those are all the players that A's.
He was 2019 too, right? All-Star.
One time, just this last year.
Yeah. There was an All-Star game in 2020, so it doesn't count.
Welcome to the town tailgate, everybody. Everything is awful.
Immediate reaction would be that I would say Julio, but I think what we're going to get into in the second half of this podcast, there's a lot of optimism. As you know, at least I have a lot of optimism. I think I've sold you a little bit on some of it, though.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Sucks. But hey, I think this is a lot of potential with this lineup. So Chris, before we jump into that, what do we got for the docket today? What are we going to be talking about?
Today, we are going to share a few of our... Excuse me. Sorry about that. There's a fly that just went right into my face.
I'll say fly walked, dude. Get the hell out of that house. The fly was walking.
We're going to go through the trade hauls for the 3 big trades that the A's made in the offseason. Chris Bassitt, Matt Olson, and Matt Chapman, which, again, we'll try and help you guys see some optimism on that. Talk about some of the new additions that the A's made. A couple of familiar faces, 3 to be exact. Oh, I guess 4. McKinney, I guess, is the 4th. And then me and Julio are going to talk about what the potential lineups are going to be this coming opening day and for the season, and what we could see from the personnel that's left over for the A's. But first, Julio, free agency has happened. There's been a ton of big moves. Literally, like, I think it was there wasn't any moves directly after the lockout ended, but it was like 12 hours later, because the agents have to start calling the teams and stuff like that. But it just went it was like 48 straight hours of boom, boom, boom. Every hour there was another big signing. So we're not going to go through all of them. Instead, me and Julio are going to share each 3 of our favorites. What about those moves that we liked, whether it be the money, whether it be the fit, whether it be whatever. So we're going to do it that way. If you guys want to check out, know more about some of the big signings that happened, you can go to MLB.com. They have a free agent tracker there. They even have at the very top, top 15 moves according to MLB.com. So you can kind of get a little bit of a quick preview on what the biggest moves are. You don't have to go through every single sign that every single team did. So there's that. Julio, you want to share your 3 first, and then I'll go?
Yeah. I'm going to give first off with, I feel like we do this kind of consistently. We don't realize this, but a little love for the Giants, because I really like the Carlos Rodon signing. They signed him to a 2-year, $44 million year, around $22 million a year.
Dude, that was
which
sneaky, by the way.
Sneaky as shit. And I
Yeah,
think it's
it was like in between two big moves, and no one really saw it except for Giants fans. You're like, what the fuck? Like the Giants got Carlos Rendon. That's huge.
yeah, especially like seeing what Kevin Gosman, the length of his contract and how much he got paid, that probably
Yeah.
scared off for the Giants. Only a 2-year deal. So it's like, if
In
he
my
can
opinion,
do it
that's
in
an
those 2 years,
improvement too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great deal on both sides because we all know that Oracle Park's pitcher friendly. Go there for a couple years. If you can really hold it down, then the Giants got the money to spend and they're willing to spend it, like up it for you. So I think that's a win-win on both sides. Great deal for him. I really, a lot of people kind of overshadowed that Yankees Twins trade where the Twins got Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela, and the Yankees got Josh Donaldson. Everybody kind of overshadowed it because of the Donaldson name. Isaiah Falefa tore it up last year for the Rangers. The guy can play multiple positions in the infield, including catcher. He was a Gold Glove winner, and he's a pretty consistent back. He's still pretty young. But like to me, I think the one issue that the Yankees will have at that infield, and I think a lot of Yankee fans will tell you, is it's not the most. He's 27. Mm-hmm. He just turned 27.
Okay.
It's not the most athletic, versatile infield. But now you're going to have a guy who, cool, you need Donaldson to take a day off at third. Great. Put Kiner Falefa there. Put Glaber at second. DJ will play second. Mm-hmm. You need Glaber needs a day off at second. Cool. Put Falefa there. And you just keep rotating him around. I know some people are kind of saying like, oh, he's a stopgap player. But no, dude, this guy's really undervalued. And I think Yankee fans are actually going to come around to him to see how good he had been in Texas last couple of years. And then last but not least, I'm just going to say the obvious one of Freddy Freeman going to the Dodgers. This is potentially, at least in our lifetimes, going to be one of the best lineups ever, where there is every player in this lineup has been an all-star. There's going to be at least 2 or 3 of these guys who are going to be going in the Hall of Fame. And now that you got a DH too. So now like, cool, you're just going to rotate out Muncy and Taylor at second and DH spot, and then Freddie give him a day off. Then Muncy can go play first. Who's a Gold Glove caliber first baseman. So many moving pieces with this team. The offense somehow got better. Will it matter at the end of the rotation? Waiting for a few other episodes when we talk about that. But on paper, though, the star power in LA, it draws again, and they look awesome.
Yeah, I mean, losing Max Scherzer sucks, but like if you're gonna average like fucking almost, this is an exaggeration by the way, but if you're gonna average like almost 10 runs a game, like it'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like you can just kind of scrap together what rotation you can, which the Dodgers are not scrapping together any rotation. They still have good guys, but it's not quite the level that it's been the past couple of years.
That the depth of the rotation is not what it used to be, but if Trevor Bauer can play this year and they're going to let him play for the Dodgers, then that could really change the subject of that.
I haven't seen any update on that though. I don't know what
he got suspended until, or he's on leave until like middle of April. Well, that gets figured out.
So what's their rotation now? It's obviously Kershaw. He just resigned.
Buehler, Urias, Kershaw.
And then redhead, what's his name?
They re-signed Dan Duffy. Dustin May is still out. Yeah, Tommy John, hurt. Remember?
He's still hurt. Right.
Tony Gonsolin is there.
Yeah.
I mean, David Price can be. I'd imagine they're probably going to bullpen it unless they can make a trade or if they can get somebody for cheap and just kind of get some dudes back there. But either way,
Scherzer does kind of hurt. But still, like if you have Buehler and you have Kershaw and you have Urias at the top of your rotation, that's still really fucking good, dude.
And then if Bauer comes back, then that's your first 4. Then I think you're good. But
sure,
and then
even with those 3 alone, even those 3 alone, like that's I would be worried going into a playoff series against them.
And then the bullpen is a mess now. No Kenley, no more Joe Kelly. So we'll see. Chris, what do you have?
So my favorite is hands down the Josh Donaldson audition. I thought that was like super sneaky. And he's like a perfect fit for the Yankees. Like, especially I feel like he's kind of fallen off the face of the earth in terms of notoriety in the baseball like fan community recently because, you know, I think it was a couple seasons after his MVP season, he had a season-long injury, so he's kind of hurt, and he came back and he He played really good for the Twins. He played really good for the Braves. He put up good numbers. Like he's still hitting around like 270, still hitting like 30 bombs. Like, and he's great defensively. And like the Yankees especially could really use that. Like their defense was all over the place last year. It felt like he's a huge step up from Gio Urshela, who I thought was like super overrated, but Yankee fans, because they're Yankee fans, they like talked about him like he was the second coming of Christ or something. But I think he's going to be some defensive stability that infield like desperately needs. Let me see.
Fun
Obviously,
fact:
go ahead.
Josh Donaldson's ever won a Gold Glove.
Yeah, that's really tough. Like he's had a tough go at it because he had it. His first 2 years were kind of the end of the Adrian Beltre era. You're never going to beat Adrian Beltre in a Gold Glove third base contest. It's just not going to happen. And then like right when Adrian Beltre retired, Chapman kind of came up. Though one of those seasons he did play in the NL when he played for the Braves last year, so he could have gotten it last year. But
Nolan Arenado.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, sorry, man, you're not going to win it there either.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, who do you got next?
My next one, Freddy Freeman, obviously for all the reasons that you said. I think this makes their infield just absolutely dominant now, and there's a lot of versatility. Max Muncy can play 3 of the 4 positions. Obviously you have fucking Trey Turner. At shortstop, who's a stud. Justin Turner's the only one that really worries me, but you still have Chris Taylor who can plug in there and play in the infield. He's probably going to start in the outfield, but that's the great thing about Chris Taylor is he's like probably the best utility player in the league. And then which we're gonna go over, in a little bit when we talk about the A's, law or transactions, but like I think Chris Bassitt is like fucking huge. For oh my god, why am I talking
a number 3 pitcher in
the
that
Mets
rotation?
Sorry. Yeah. He was our ace, and now is he the number 3 pitcher?
Well, he's not going to be ahead to Grom or Scherzer.
That's what I'm saying. And then
then it's going to be him, Taijuan Walker, and Carlos Carrasco.
Taijuan Walker, yeah.
Which is some horses there. Those are guys
I guess he would be number 3. I was thinking number 4. I wasn't thinking 1 or 2. But that's why I was just like, man, like, one of their big issues last year was it felt like pitching. It felt like DeGrom was the only one doing anything. But now, I mean, oh my God, that's going to be, if they can get their offense together and they can like be stable and be consistent, like they are a fucking scary team in a playoff.
Taijuan Walker had kind of an underrated year, and then
he was only there for half the season.
And then Stroman was decent too. He had some years, but it's like what Bassitt and Scherzer are going to do there is going to be pretty wild. Yeah, it's going to be as much as it hurts to happen.
And I think the Mets kind of learned from their woes a little bit last season with the inconsistent play from a lot of their batting order. They got like guys who are known for their consistency, and Mark Hanna and Starling Marte and these guys who can kind of like ground out the batting order a little bit. And and you can plug and play them anywhere in the batting order, and they can get production out of the guys around them.
I think that the argument could have made that Canna and Marte would probably be up there for the best moves, because if you think about it, what's your job as a leadoff hitter, or at least the modern day leadoff hitter, is just see as many pitches as you can, right? Yeah. There's not many people who are better at that than Mark Canna. Yeah. So having him in front of Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor now doing that, not many people in the league are better than both those guys. Those are like probably 2 of the top 10 guys at just getting on base in Marte as
baseball.
Well, yeah.
And you put those guys in front of Pete Alonso at hitting at 4. Oh my! I mean, your run differential is going to just go up with that alone. And yeah, I mean, I think it was a great move. I think the Mets are definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with this season.
We said that last year. We said that every year. But it's going to be interesting.
But last year, the Braves were a machine. This year, they are still a machine, but they lost their best player. It's going to be a different.
I know the Braves got better though. We'll talk. We'll say this. We'll pencil this down
for the preview pod.
Yeah, the preview pods. But
I'm curious to see how I'm going to do with the exercise that we normally do for the preview pod and ranking them. Because I remember last year thinking like I was gonna have the Mets take the East, but I ended up having the Braves do it.
Yeah.
Because they just won in different categories. Anyway, we can move on. The trade halls, Julio. Should we just talk about the three the three big ones? Yeah.
The three, well, I think those are the major ones, but I think there's something that I got to talk to you about before we jump into this, which is we didn't get a chance to record immediately after the lockout ending, which I think all of us are just relieved that this is all over with.
Yeah.
But it seems like what has been a problem for the last 5 years is 10 years is still going to be a problem, which is teams like the A's, the Guardians, the Pirates, the Reds, they're still going to play this fake poor shit.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously what has happened since that trade deadline, or since the baseball came back, A's traded away 3 of their stars. The Reds have started to fire sale. Traded Sonny Gray, Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez. Castellanos signs away somewhere else. And it's just, we're going to get to all the exciting parts of what happens with these trades, but it's kind of depressing to think that like nothing changed for us. Nothing's going to change for these franchises like those after all that happened. The players are going to be taken a little bit care of, but as a franchise as a whole, nothing got changed to incentivize those teams from actually remaining competitive and spending a little bit of money, which I think is total bullshit. That was just my rant for that. I've been wanting to say that for a few weeks now. So I'm glad.
Speaking of the end of the lockout, it feels like all the right changes and decisions were made except for the payroll minimum, which is like the one thing that's really just keeping this game and franchises like ours, the ones that we watch, from growing popularity. If anything, it's kind of like ruining it a little bit. But like expanding the playoffs, which I've been a big advocate for years. Thank God they did do a 12-team playoff.
Love it.
So 3 wild card teams, which is going to go into my shtick in once we get into these potential lineups next season. They're doing the ghost, universal DH, which we all saw that coming though. They're continuing the ghost runner for this season. I don't know if they're going to do it after the season. I don't know how I feel about it quite yet.
Yeah.
I personally believe that after 12 innings, we should just tie. But we'll see. The ghost runner.
Americans don't like to tie. You should know that.
I know.
American sports don't like to tie.
Well, I'm a soccer fan, so I'm a little bit more used to ties than other people, I guess. And then pitch clock is going to be something they're going to kind of look at, because let's be honest, like that's probably the biggest thing is that if you have a chance, listeners, you should go on YouTube and go on and Google and search for modern day pitch like speed or sorry, not speed, modern. They have videos that compare like Dennis Eckersley throwing like 3 pitches back in the day compared to like Max Scherzer throwing pitches, and like the amount of time it takes Max Scherzer to throw 3 pitches is like 10 times longer than it took Dennis Eckersley to do his whole shtick. Like it's insane how pitchers, they just take so much fucking time these days to throw their pitch, to take a lap around the fucking mound. They get
goddamn millennials, Chris.
It's just like
baseball.
Okay. It's just it's insane. So like they're adding in the pitch clock, and they're making all the right moves, but it seems like the one main move that they're not doing is trying to retain stars in small markets. I don't know how, like that's always going to be an issue unless they find a way to fix it. Anyway, we'll move on.
The weird thing is, it doesn't have to be an issue because other sports are able to do that. Just baseball can't figure that shit out. Giannis won a goddamn title in Milwaukee. Also, the thing I loved is starting next year, every team is playing each other. That's tight. I'm hell excited for that. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lead us off here with the Chris Bassitt trade to the Mets. This was the first cut, and of course, the first cut is the deepest. The A's received 2 right-handed pitching prospects in the deal. JT Ginn, I can't wait to see the signs in Oakland for that. And then Adam Aller. Chris, you are our, I guess, college baseball prospect extraordinaire. And I guess, reading about these guys the last few weeks, how are you feeling like in this trade?
So in
To
this
jump off the
particular
bat.
trade, I was really high on Jin. He's a slider and a high fastball pitcher. He throws like around 95. He went to Mississippi State, which is like we talked about it during the college baseball or college World Series last year, when we did like those updates. Is one of the best baseball programs in college baseball. So he's definitely cream of the crop in that aspect because they get all these great prospects. But yeah, reading up on him, he's got great control. And he's a classic ace pitcher. He's a low slider pitcher. He's going to get the ball in play, and he's going to rely on the defense to make a lot of the outs for him. He had a little bit of he's only really been in double A, but he's just dominated in double A. Yeah, I just see a lot of potential in him in terms of like a middle starter, a middle rotation starter. He's not going to be an ace. He's not going to be like a Frankie Montas or anything like that, but he's going to be really good, really consistent. And the thing that I found most interesting about the Chris Bassitt moves and the Matt Olson moves were all the prospects they got are ready to be brought up. So it's I was texting you about this, Julio. I find it interesting that, it felt like a fire sale at first in that we were just doing a full rebuild, but I don't necessarily know if it's a full rebuild because I'm looking at the prospect list and almost every prospect is expected to be in the big leagues 2022, 2022, 2022, 2023. I think it's a classic Billy Beane move where it's like, I can't stand losing so much and I want to win, that I want to win as soon as possible. So I don't think he wants this rebuild to go longer than 2 years.
And the cool thing about with Aller, he was actually the Mets minor league pitcher of the year in their organization last year, which is pretty killer to have.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing too is he was on the Mets 40-man roster before he got traded. So because of that, he will automatically be on the A's 40-man roster. So like you mentioned, we're going to see him this year.
Yeah.
Is he going to be on the opening day roster? I don't know.
He might be bullpen. Because our bullpen's kind of a mess right now. We could probably use some young help. Yeah.
It's definitely going to get some young help there. I like it. I think the one thing people
are definitely the prize. Jin is definitely the prize. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to say real quick. Jin is definitely the prize of that trade, and he's gonna be like a Chris Bassitt. He's gonna be like a middle of the rotation type of start. I think Chris Bassitt exceeded our expectations. So, but yeah.
Which leads to my point. A lot of Ace Twitter, because I love it. Look, honestly, Ace Twitter is awesome. I have so much more fun on Ace Twitter than on Warriors Twitter because if things go bad for the Warriors,
totally,
it just gets really sour downhill and just fingers thrown everywhere. But there was a lot of negativity with this trade because they're like, Chris Bassitt was our ace, all this other stuff. Yes, he was. He was an all-star. He was ace. He was a leader. But realistically, Chris Bassitt is 33 years old, 34, and he just had his first really good year. And he was in the organization for almost 7 years. There was not going to be any of a higher picks or guys we could bring in a bigger haul like these other two guys that we'll talk about in a minute. Reality was there probably wasn't a full big of a market that the A's thought there were because of those intangibles. So I think Chris actually ends up in a pretty good situation where the pressure's not on him to perform. You got two other guys in front of you who are, one's a lock Hall of Famer, one is making his case to get there. You're like, dude, just do enough. This is the perfect place for him to go to continue his career. And of course,
and he's surrounded by his boys.
With Canna, and I don't know how boys he is with Marte, but
yeah.
Well, we're always going to root for him because the guy's a rock star. He was really the heart of this team for those couple of years. Mm-hmm. Alrighty, Chris, let's go to the next heartbreak, which was
and real quick, it adds to our rotation depth that we have building over these next 2 years, which is important.
Now, arguably the most handsome man got traded. I think he is.
It's not arguably, it's a fact.
I should have brought up the poll. I asked, are you going to miss the most about
His
Matt
hair.
Olson.
I voted for his hair for sure.
His play, his hair, or his bat, his defense, his hair, his smile.
Yeah.
And I think the hair was actually pretty far ahead.
I voted for it. His hair is pretty on
perfect
point.
helmet hair. Jessica Kleinschmidt is the one that pointed it out, and just ever since then, that's all.
Yeah, he would always like take his helmet off and just kind of like whip it back and just like put his hands through it. You know what I mean?
He's kind of like in Shrek 2 when Prince Charming like does the
yes.
Anyways,
yes, that's the perfect
big trade. So the A's traded Matt Olson to the Atlanta Braves, and they got an absolute haul. And I think we were pretty damn excited about this one.
Yes.
Starting center fielder Christian Pache, who was once one of their prize prospects over the last couple of years, comes to Oakland in that trade. Shea Langeliers, catcher, he was the Braves minor league player of the year last year. Absolute stud behind the plate. Ryan Cusick and then Joey Estes, the last two right-handed pitchers. This ruled. This was an awesome trade, I think, for both teams. But we're gonna miss Matt, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just that we've been through this before. What were kind of a couple of the standout things for you in this one?
I mean, we got probably the future two best players of our team. Two of our three. I mean, Tyler Soderstrom actually is probably going to be our best player in about 2 or 3 seasons, but Christian Pache could very well be that person. Or is it Pache? I'm sorry. I don't know why.
Pache.
Yeah, Pache. That's a cool way to say that. The thing that is confusing to me was the Langeliers addition to that, because we already have Soderstrom, who's a catcher. It looks like Soderstrom is probably going to be moved to first base, especially now. But then we also have Sean Murphy, who's under contract till 2027. He's a Gold Glove nominee catcher. He did have a rough year with his bat last year, but it was his first full season. I don't expect him to, completely mold into that yet. I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that? That's Langeliers is a better prospect than Sean Murphy was, which is really interesting. So it's like, I know you had talked about maybe they're looking to trade Murphy before, but I have not read a single thing that they're testing the waters with Murph at all.
I don't get it. And I know that this organization loves having their catching depth. That's no secret at all. Just think about the guys they've had over the last few years. And we've kind of bit into the hype of like this 2-man rotation and behind the plate for some time, because I remember when we had Alex Coffey last year, she was really high on Aramis Garcia. That didn't pan out.
Yeah.
We're big fans of Jonah Heim before he got traded. And then Austin Allen just kind of lingering around the system. But like Shea Langeliers already shot past all those guys just from walking in that building. He's an absolute defensive like stud. I saw a video last night or a couple days ago where like, the early comp in terms of defense is Pudge, which is like don't run.
The scouting reports say that he's going to be a perennial Gold Glove nominee, like no Gold Glove finalist. Like he's that, like his calling card is his defense. His bat is just his power, and he's not a good hitter. He's a good power hitter. So the power in his bat is just an addition to his amazing defense.
It just sucks from this whole situation because, unfortunately Murph's career kind of got a hit like a lot of other baseball players because of COVID. Where Murph didn't get to have a full year. Murph should have had a full season in 2020.
Yeah.
Have that going there. But that being said, something's going to give at some point, whether it be a position change, which I don't think either of those guys are going to change position. They're both, Murph won a freaking Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, they're both great defensively. It doesn't make sense.
Someone's going to get traded. And I would think
the
outlook was going to be Murph, because I think by the time like Langeliers ready to be your everyday guy and you just have another kind of solid backup catcher, then what Murph would be at that point could potentially bring in a lot more. So this isn't I don't think Murph's going to get traded anytime soon, but I think next offseason, maybe
the waters a little bit.
Maybe summer of 2023 trade deadline, that'll happen, but I don't think he's going anywhere this season at least.
Yeah, you don't want to position change either of these guys. There's both studs at what they do, but also so that was my original thought when they got him. I was like, oh, okay, maybe they're I remember I texted you about this. Maybe they're going back to the platoon at catcher, because it worked so well with Murph and Jonah Heim in 2019. But I just don't think you want to restrict either of these guys in terms of games they should play, because they're yeah. I mean, one thing about Langellier's scouting report that I saw that was really interesting was that he is a clubhouse like favorite, and he is a great leader in the clubhouse. He has been known for that in every single level that he's played the game, and they say that's like one of his best qualities as a baseball player. Like people, just guys respect him in the clubhouse, and he gets along really well with his pitchers, and pitchers respect his input in terms of calling a game, and I think that's really important. I do feel like that's one thing that I don't know for sure, but it felt like Murph was missing out on with at least some guys last year in the pitching staff, like
Murph and Montas, they never clicked.
Yeah, and wasn't it Sean Manaea too? Wasn't it like Manaea had was 9-1 with what's his face, Jan Gomes catching?
Yeah, that's right.
And then Murph caught a really important crucial game at the end of the season, and they lost it. Yeah, I mean, so there's something that's not personality wise clicking that Murph has, but it sounds like Langellier's has that. So
it's Braves fans were not happy with parting him. I've been watching Farm to Fame. It's like one of the John Boy, like their minor league pod that they do. And they were talking about Shea Langellier's, like they were pulling this guy was going to be the future, like their catcher of the future.
Yeah.
It was just like, when now? Travis d'Arnaud just signed a 2-year extension, and they just, unfortunately, that's what they had to do to get something like this. How trades work, right? You got to give up a little bit something you like just to get that.
Yeah.
And then last but not least,
hold on, Christian Pache. If you have not been watching him in spring training, he is just a clinic out there in center field defensively. He's awesome. He is a hustler too. He dives for balls that you should not be diving for, and makes these amazing plays. He covers the ground perfectly. When Ramon comes back, Ramon's probably be moving to right field, because Pache.
It'd be better for his arm too.
Yeah,
with
Ramon's
arm.
Yeah, and with those two, and then probably Chad Pinder in left field, that's going to be 3 big arms and 3 fast guys out there who are going to cover a lot of ground. Defensively, we're going to be very good in the outfield. He's already ready. He's going to be our starting center fielder on opening day. He's so good, really fast. We don't really know too much about his bat yet, though, but he does have some power. There's not enough evidence to see exactly what he can do with it, but he's got some pop. So watch out.
Yeah. And I think what's going to benefit him too is
20 home runs, 25 home runs this season. So.
If and when he does go to Vegas, because their odds are he's probably going to have to go spend some time out there at some point during his tenure.
I don't think so, man. I think but
when he's rehabbing,
I was
whatever.
Like, dude, it looks like he's gonna start in center field on opening day. I don't.
That's going to be some confidence booster.
Yeah.
And then last thing about him, and I thought this was hella funny. So I have cats. And
that you do.
Whenever you have pets, you just give your pets have multiple nicknames, right? So a nickname I have for Peach is Patches, because it was a slip of the tongue by Ann Whitney's dad. He had called her Patch. So
Patches.
Yeah. So when I was really into playing the show last year, Christian Pache, I kept getting his cards. So I kept calling her Christian Patches. I'm like center fielder for the Atlanta Braves. And then little did we know.
Are you going to start calling her that now instead?
Christian Patches? Of course. I've been calling her that before the trade. The last thing too, the guy played in the World Series, and he played in the NLCS. And he made really good plays up there. So, all right. Last but not least, our boy, Captain America, Matt Chapman. This one sucked. Arguably the one that hurt the most. Well, I don't know, but
People were
again,
really
another
pissed
huge
off about this
haul in
haul
the
too.
I think this is a really great deal.
I did too, but Ace Twitter at first was really upset. I'm sorry, you should go ahead and just say what it is.
It's because they probably didn't do enough research.
Yeah.
And they don't
But
recognize
that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's
to educate them.
That's our unpaid job. Kevin Smith, not the director. He is been one of the top prospects in the J system for some time. He played a little bit last year. He's coming to Oakland. Gunnar Hoglund, who is actually AJ Puck's college rotation mate in Florida. And he's a right-handed pitcher. And then a couple lefties, Zach Luge and Kirby Sneed. Kirby Sneed, not the pink guy, but Kirby Sneed's probably going to be coming out of the pen and doing work. Another lefty out of the pen. They just need that. They lost two guys who have been rocks over the last couple of years, really. Say what you want about Jake Diekman, but in terms of a serviceable lefty out of the pen, he did the job. And then Andrew Chafin was pretty freaking good for most of the time as an A. Was he should he have been the closer? That's something we're never really gonna. Yeah, he's reliable. So I think for one, that's probably one of the more underrated trades is getting Snead in the deal, because just like the pen was a freaking dumpster fire last year. Also, speaking of that, forgot to mention former Oakland great Sergio Romo going to Seattle. So forgot to do that at the top. But what was your initial reactions to this? How are you feeling now that the dust has settled a little bit?
My initial reaction was, who the fuck are these guys? And then I looked them up, and then I looked up mostly Kevin Smith's background. I feel like we've been burned a couple times on these guys that were when they got drafted high prospects, and then they fell off and they didn't develop well. But they come to our system and they'll get right back on track. And like sometimes it just feels like it doesn't work out a lot in that way. Like Grant Green is someone who comes to mind in that situation. But Kevin Smith has been dope he's been fun to watch in spring training. I'm on the Kevin Smith train now. Like if he starts at third base, I'll be cool with that. He's been getting hits in big spots. He's been great defensively. Yeah, I mean, Gunnar Hoglund, we're not going to probably see for a couple of years, so it's hard for me to tell what the deal is with him. So we'll see how he develops in the system. We have great pitching development in our minor league system, so hopefully they'll get everything they can out of him. But yeah, Kevin Smith, I actually like a lot after watching spring training games all this week and seeing him play.
This is probably going to be the trade we're not going to see the most upside for. Yeah. And for at least another couple of years. Kevin Smith will probably be an everyday guy this year. And then Kirby Snead will be in the pen. Yeah. I think what everybody's scared about is I think we all have major PTSD of trading third baseman to the Blue Jays. Yeah. But as long as none of these guys try to start a fight with one of their teammates in the locker room, then we're in good shape. But
Danny Valencia was like an over the hill like egomaniac though. So
yeah, the reputation is kind of a dick.
This is like Kevin Smith is a young dude. He's probably like he's happy. He's looking to make a name for himself. It looks like he's hanging out with Nick Allen in the dugout. Like it seems like he's getting along with the guys. I don't know. I mean, I'm actually pretty excited about the future of our infield.
So before we kind of jump to the next subject, what would be, because I had to do this for my dad. He was like, what do you mean? I called him when the trades went down. He was just like, bring me some good. He's like, get me excited. So what would you tell the A's fans who haven't had a chance to really look into it? There you have your pet. They have their pessimism still. What is your words of encouragement for this team in, whether it be this year or in the near future?
In terms of these moves or the team in general?
The moves, they're kind of correlated with each other, right?
Yeah. I would say the future infield for this team looks fucking good. Nick Allen, he just got demoted to AAA, which is unfortunate. I'll get into that in a second. My thoughts on that. but he was hitting 714 in spring.
He was hitting some bombs too.
On top of putting on a clinic at shortstop. He is going to win a Gold Glove at shortstop. I'm telling you that now, A's fans. Julio, mark it right now. Chris said Nick Allen will win a shortstop Gold Glove. It will happen. He is that good. He showed his stuff in the Olympics last year. You got a great glimpse of it. He's doing it again in spring. He's just fun too. He Dallas interviewed him the other day on the broadcast in the last couple innings, and he's just like a funny dude. Sorry, oh my god, I'm totally blank. Oh, Max Muncy. He's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Zach Geloff has been tearing it up in spring training too.
Tearing it up too, but he's got to get his back going. And obviously Tyler Soderstrom once they eventually officially move him over to first base. Our infield is going to be very good. And if it's hitting, if they hit as well as they have been hitting in the minor leagues, it's going to be like another 2018 4 all-stars in the infield. Although I guess you reminded me earlier that there wasn't that 2019 4 all-stars in the infield. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So I would be very excited about that.
Yeah, I what I was going to say is like, this is the way they're, at least what this core looks like right now. If they're going to continue with these guys in the future, this is going to be an elite defensive team. Yeah. This is going to be like one of the, and I think they're really kind of playing in what the Coliseum, if the Coliseum is still going to be there in a few years from now, whether it be Howard Terminal or, elsewhere, this is going to be the team that their most important thing, their bread and butter, is going to be defense. And plus, the A's were a bottom 3 team farm system. These trades alone have pushed them up to the mid-level. What's going to get them over the top is the development of the guys you mentioned, of Soderstrom, Nick Allen, Langoliers,
and Max Muncy.
Geloff. If these guys can shoot up,
Langoliers kind of already developed. I feel like it's mostly the really young guys.
Yeah, if these guys can live up to that potential, this has a lot of. I said potential again. I don't want to repeat myself saying the same word twice.
Whatever.
But this, fuck it. Whatever. They have the potential to be like one of the strongest farm systems. So these next couple of years are going to be really important, because it's like, the right times of bringing the right players up. Is it, how do you kind of learn the inflation of playing in Vegas with the AAA? So now these next couple of years, it's going to be a lot of learning, and there's no way to learn more than bringing in some veterans. Look at that transition. God damn it, Chris. The boys are back in town, Chris.
I don't want to stop because he was so good. Keep going.
The boys are back. Yeah.
So the A's re-signed a couple key veterans that you all know and love very well. Stephen Vogt signed a deal last week. Jed Lowry just signed another deal to come back as well this year.
Jed's coming back.
Get some veteran leadership in the locker room, because it's a whole lot of youngsters, as we were saying earlier. It'll be great, especially Stephen Vogt. He's just gonna have a ball in the dugout, and he's gonna look. There is a lot of potential with this lineup. There's a lot of young question marks with it, but I personally think there's a lot of potential. We just talked about the defense and the hitting, but it's the starting pitching that is what really excites me personally, because there's going to be a lot of depth to the starting pitching. Because, I mean, we thought that Manaea and Frankie were going to be gone.
And then they both got an arbitration deal.
And and it looks like from the reports that we're getting, so it sounded like the original report, which was Ken Rosenthal, was saying that it sounds like the A's are not looking to move Frankie Montas. They are still open to Sean Manaea. And then a couple hours later, John Heyman had tweeted that he had spoken to a lot of executives who were in talks with the A's, and they're getting the feeling that the A's have no interest in trading Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas. Now, that report, I would lean heavily to being pretty realistic, because if he's talking to executives who are trying to negotiate with the A's and they are getting that feeling, it means that those executives are probably offering pretty good packages for Sean Manaea, and the A's are still turning him down, which is only one sign that the A's don't really intend to move those guys unless the package is like out of the park, Matt Olson level. So sounds like Manaea and Frankie are still going to be here this year, and we probably could have put together a starting rotation without them.
Yeah, and I think having somebody like Vogue, who's going to be help, he was just on a World Series winning team. He's still got the lettering. To me, this seems
like a great
like
leader too. He's a great
leader. This seems like a couple things. One, the Swan Song. I think he really loved his time in Oakland.
Yeah.
And that, he wants to kind of finish his career there. But also, I wouldn't be shocked if when he does retire next offseason, he's still going to be sitting on that bench in a coaching position or somewhere in the minors, or if you're going to see him in the booth working alongside with Glenn. Like there's so much potential with Fogue in this organization. Past his playing career, just having them there, having somebody who's going to be exciting and that we all can gravitate to, of course.
He's really going to help real quick. He's really going to help is Sean Murphy. I just realized this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like one thing that Vogt always did well, he was a great leader and a great clubhouse chemistry guy. He can really help Sean Murphy with that and like growing these relationships with the pitchers and like trying to like showing Murph how to be a leader and how to like, manage these personalities in the rotation and in the pitching staff.
Yeah, totally. And Murph, I think one of the more underrated things about Yan Gomes this last half of the season, and I think there was probably some things that Yan taught him. I don't know if we're really gonna. I love to have somebody who's on. If we have any of our friends who are in the A's press, who are in Zoom calls and stuff, can you ask Sean Murphy what the impact of having a veteran like Yan Gomes was like, and what advice he gave him? That'd be great. But it has potential to do that later. But I think another move we got to talk about the Billy McKinney trade, the signing. We'll see. It might have been another arm. It might have been another body to have in for spring training.
I don't know,
but whatever.
But who's going to play first if not McKinney? That's the thing.
Billy McKinney's an outfielder.
He played first today.
We'll get to that actually. Okay. Next segment. But I think Sheldon Noisy, Chris, go take a lap. Go, you did it. You called it on this last podcast.
I think you called it. I didn't call it.
I thought it was you. Where you're like, look, either way, let's pat ourselves in the back. Melissa gave us a shout out on Twitter for it. So, but no, like, hey, at the end of the day, this is a team that it's an open competition for a few positions in that infield, and have somebody who's got a familiarity with the system and playing in Oakland, screw it. And he just came back from a stint with the Dodgers where I'm sure he probably was able to take in a lot of information from playing on that over there as well.
Oh, I thought you were like barking or something.
No, I'm done.
Yeah. So should we do our potential lineups for the season?
Yes. Let me get in my little
because what I have to say next is going to relate to that. So
okay, go for it. Yeah, do.
So I don't think too much of the Billy McKinney trade. I think they just need depth at first base because right now they don't really have a first baseman. It might have to be Eric Thames, dude, because who I really want to see at first base is Sheldon Noisy, because there's not really any other fit for him in the infield right now. I don't know. I mean, we don't have a first baseman. The guy hits home runs. It'd be nice to just have him get some steady playing time in a position where we need some help. I don't know. All right.
Who's your leadoff hitter?
You want to do it by batting order?
That was how I had it written down here.
Okay. So do we?
You can say your leadoff hitter. I say mine.
Okay, but do we want to do what we think or what we want?
What we want.
What we want? Okay. Because I was going to do what we think, and then I was going to go on a tangent at the end about what I want.
Okay. Well, we'll just go whatever you think works best. We're doing this live, folks.
Christian Pache is going to lead off. He's going to play center field. Who's yours?
Okay. Tony Kemp. Tony Kemp's my leadoff hitter. He's going to be playing. He's going to be the everyday second baseman. I think he absolutely deserved it over the last couple months of the season last year.
Tony Kemp is going to be hitting second for me and playing second base. So we're similar vibe.
Christian Pache
Look
was
at
my
that,
number
dude.
2 hitter playing center field. Look at that. But so I
Uh,
wonder what was the logic behind one over the other. I think TK just is a little more experienced of a hitter and has been around the majors. So that was kind of my logic. It's like, hey, you want somebody who's going to have a little more of that, who's been playing in the bigs for a little bit longer, who can see pitches, work up counts, especially after this last year. So
my thought process is that the second order in the lineup has more at bats with runners on base. So I would want someone who has more experience and has been in those bigger moments, not a rookie to sit to bat in that position.
Okay.
Just to take the pressure off of them. So yeah.
Who's your 3-hole hitter?
My 3-hole hitter starting May 15th is going to be Ramon Laureano, but starting opening day, it's going to be Sean Murphy.
My 3rd-hole hitter is also Ramon Laureano. That's hella funny. Which is all right. I'll go tell you my 4. And this
so then can we just do our batting order not opening day starting May 15th when Ramon comes back?
Sure. Let's just do what our everyday lineup post suspension would look like. Who's your 4-hole?
Eric Thames.
I had Sean Murphy as my 4-hole hitter.
Sean's my 5th.
And my 5th-hole hitter is my first base combo.
Okay.
Is Eric Thames, but then I think Seth Brown should start getting some more love playing first. I know he
probably will start at first base, huh?
Yeah, I think he should, because it's funny that outfield is a wide open competition, but once Ramon comes back, it's not. I think Pinder's going to be playing every day. Pache is going to be in center, and then Ramon's in right. So it's like there's
exactly.
So I think there's going to be a combo over there. And then in your 6-hole, who do you got?
Kevin Smith.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think
you're pretty high. You're high up on him that quickly.
He's been playing. He started the last 3 games at third base. I think they're really pushing.
But as a 6-hole hitter,
I don't really know where else to plug him.
Okay.
In my opinion, 6 and 7 are pretty interchangeable.
Okay.
You want some more speed at the end, so I was going to put speed guys at 8 and 9.
7th or 6th, I had Pinder.
Okay.
Pinder and starting in left field. It's going down and yelling Pinder.
Nice.
And then who do you have in the 7-hole?
At the 7-hole, it would be Seth Brown, I guess, or whoever ends up starting at first base. I would like it to be Sheldon Noisy, but he hasn't played any first base in spring. I can't imagine they just throw him in there middle of the season. So Seth Brown,
this is my DH hole. And even though I was just reading, he still wants to play in the field. We'll see. I had Jed. Jed's just going to be the DH playing there. In the 8th spot, this is where as my starting third baseman is where I had Kevin Smith is going to be playing. Just, no major expectations right off the bat for that. That was my mindset when you put him in the 8th spot. I know he got to play a little bit in the bigs last year, but this is like even less pressure situation. So that was my logic for that one.
I want some speed back at the bottom, so I have Chad Pinder at 8.
Got it. And then
we both have Elvis at 9. Yeah. That's his spot. He was there all last season too. So now this is my tangent. Go ahead.
Do you have a bench? I had 4 guys.
I only did a batting order.
Okay, go ahead and think of a couple. I have a feeling we're probably going to be in the same mindset.
Yeah. Well, I mean, go ahead. You go ahead.
Stephen Vogt, obviously.
Yeah.
Sheldon Noisy.
Yeah, both agree on that.
Piscotty.
He's hurt. He just got didn't he just have surgery?
Hypothetical. Okay, I didn't. Did he get hurt? Shit.
Yeah, I think he just had surgery. I think it's like a 2-month injury recovery thing, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, I didn't expect him to be on the opening day lineup because of his injury.
Left shoulder discomfort.
Yeah, he hasn't even been playing in spring this whole week.
Well, then that leads to my other guy who Will this finally be it? We'll see. Skybolt.
Yeah, I
Skybolt
think it has
had
to be it, man.
he has no option at this point. The guy has been tearing it up in Vegas. He gets called hitting wise. He's always been a pretty solid defender. He's always got really good speed, but he's never been able to figure out hitting in the bigs. So this is your last opportunity, dude. Figure it out now, or you're gonna be, be the DFA guy every other team.
So I want to go back to Elvis Andrus. The A's should cut Elvis Andrus. He has zero value left in a modern day baseball. He hits around 210. He hits less than 10 home runs. He is above average defensively, but there's nothing about him that like sparks off the page where it's like we're playing him for his defense. And we have Nick Allen, who has been killing in the spring. He killed it on Team USA. He's been killing it in the minors all last season. He deserves a shot to be the everyday shortstop. He deserves a chance to be in the big leagues. And they just demoted him to AAA this year. To me, I don't understand the value in Elvis, except for the fact that there's still money left on his deal. And because we got him in the trade last year, it's like they feel like they have to play him because they're already paying him. Just cut your losses with the guy. Like, I'm sorry, Elvis is great. He's a veteran presence. That's probably why they're keeping him, really, because of he's going to be a veteran leader in the clubhouse. But he has zero value left, and we have a kid who's been killing it, who we really need to see truthfully like what we got with him, and he's better. Like, I just would you rather have a guy who's going to hit? If I were to predict Nick Allen's stats this season, I think this is pretty realistic. 250. 15 plus home runs, potentially 20. Or would you rather have Elvis Andrus, who's going to hit 210 and 8 home runs?
I mean, obviously you'd rather have Nick Allen because it's just like to get those reps in at major league level as soon as we can.
And he's going to be a stud for us at shortstop and potentially be a Gold Glove finalist this season in his rookie season. Potentially win Rookie of the Year.
Do you think there is any sort of galaxy multiverse where Elvis could get hot for the first half of the season and the A's could trade him?
No.
You think there's no shot that's happening? You think he's just completely done?
I think he's done, man. I think he is a lost cause at this point. And I think that there are teams that are a little bit more competitive than us potentially that could use a more
where he'd be a really
shortstop.
Where he would actually be a really good fit? Right down the 5 freeway
Angels?
in Anaheim.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Think about it, dude. You can get away with having somebody like that when you have that potential potent of a stacked lineup.
He's also not going to have so much pressure on him to have to perform offensively down there, where he kind of does.
Yeah, I'd call up the Angels right now
year.
and be like, all right, Elvis is yours. Give us. You just drafted 50 pitchers.
I just don't get it. And there's nothing that makes me think that he's going to be different with his bat this season. His spring, he's hitting like 180.
Yeah.
And Nick Allen's hitting 700. Ugh. I know maybe some listeners are listening to this. Like, Chris, you've been on the Nick Allen train for a year and a half now. So you're just like being stubborn in your take. No, dude, like go watch him play and go look at his numbers. Like, this kid, I really think there's a lot of potential with him. I genuinely think he can be a 260 to 270 hitter, 20 plus home runs, and a Gold Glover. There's potential there for that.
Absolutely.
Will he be that? But there's a lot of potential there for that.
What Chapman was, the hype of how good he was defensively when he first came up, is going to be what Nick Allen is right now.
Yeah.
And
with what he's doing with his bat, he could not be Matt Chapman bat, but he could be very good.
Now, before we go, Chris, we have some MLB breaking news that just happened.
Oh, we do?
Albert Pujols is going back to St. Louis.
Oh, nice.
Signing a 1 year. So the one last ride with those old guys of Wainwright, Pujols, and Molina.
I guess
so. I got official word from Cardinals mega fan and a good friend of the pod, Ronnie Wyant, who said, "Yeah, boy."
On that note, we're gonna end the podcast. Thank you for listening. No, but we actually are gonna end the podcast.
Yeah.
We have our season preview pods coming this week. We're gonna do 2 of them, one for the NL, one for the AL. We're doing the same thing as we did last year. Are ranking the teams in the divisions or whatever, and that's how we pick it. Might have some guests with us, Julio. We gotta probably work on that. Oh no, we do for AL. NL, we gotta find someone.
Yeah, we're putting that together. It's been a very busy last 3 weeks for the both of us, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
But it'll be fun. Hope you learned something today. Hope you guys are gonna get excited about these prospects because they are a lot of fun to watch. Check out spring training games. They are on NBC Sports California for the home games this entire week. I will be at opening day, so if you see me, be like, "What's up, Chris?" And I'll be like, "What's up, dude?"
Hey, you're the guy that took the foul ball off the chest.
I am that guy. I'll be wearing the same jersey and everything. Last but not least, Julio.
Make sure you give us a follow if you haven't been going on Twitter. We've been having it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We've been having a ton of fun on Twitter lately. A lot of interaction with Oakland A's fans. We love talking with all of you guys. So please, let's keep this momentum going. Are we trying to make money off of this? Realistically, we'd love to, but we're not going to. We just love to kind of hear a little bit of everybody's opinion and kind of go through what we had to go through these last couple weeks together. And either way, we're going to love this team. And also, quick shout out. I had a fun hobby that I've picked up the last couple months, which has been curling. There's a Southern California curling center, and I went for an open practice. We did a little practice thing, and Whitney and I signed up to be a part of a league. We got paired up with another couple. Guess what? We went 5-0. And we won our championship. So I just want to show off my little trophy here. Look at this bad boy.
My friends. Congratulations, Julio. Rookie of the year for curling.
And also got this bad boy of an injury going on here.
Oh.
Yeah, I fell really hard last weekend on my elbow and I got bursitis. Anyways.
Was it while you were like brushing?
I was sweeping and I just ate shit. If you are in the East Bay, and you are interested in trying out any curling, I actually learned that there is a curling center in Oakland, folks. It is called the inappropriately named San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club in Oakland. It's on Enterprise Way. And guess what, folks? It's just around the corner from the Oakland Coliseum, right off of Hagenberger. So if you have any interest in trying it out, please do so. It's a good time. But last but not least, I'll go ahead and pick up where you left. Let's go, Oakland.
Yeah. See you opening day, everybody.